dudes? Nutnfancy here, tackling a huge subject with this series of videos. That's right, AK-47 versus AR-15. Lots of talking points and details to cover. I'll get to those in a few minutes. Man, big subject. And it's an age-old argument, is it not? Kind of along the lines of almond joy versus mounds, paper versus plastic, Ford versus Chevy. Take your pick. On and on and on. I do not think I will settle the argument. My intention is to provide you, the potential gun buyer, with some information as to which system might be good for you, that you can adopt and might fit your wallet and your tactical needs. Whether you are a military operator, law enforcement, or a civilian sheepdog, I think you're going to find some very interesting stuff in this series of videos. Couple ground rules that I would like to set before I launch into this huge subject. There are a lot of passionate people in both camps. There's guys that are very passionate about the AK-47 system, ditto with the AR system. And both have a lot of good points and a lot of truth on their side. However, there's a lot in each camp that also tend to become brand or type myopic. Remember my video, Brand Myopia, in which I discussed that sometimes people just get so centered and tunnel visioned on their thing that they spent their money on that they go out of their way to lambast everything else, failing to see the merit in other systems. I think that's an immature way to be. I'd never have advocated that at the Nutnfancy project, and I don't dig it when I see that in the comments. And speaking of the comments, please keep them civil. In other words, if you are passionate about your AK or passionate about your AR, be respectful of the other guys. We are all on the same side here. We really are. You guys should know that. And so if someone has chosen something and they dig it, maybe running into the second kind of cool, you have no right at all, really, to criticize them. If they're passionate about it, they like it, it works for them, double thumbs up. Just please be civil with one another. If it deteriorates and if it becomes confrontational and there's too much static and garbage, just kind of like the forums out there, then I will shut the comments down. I really don't want to do that, so please observe that. I sure appreciate it. I will tell you, you guys have done an awesome job in doing that in my other videos. Much appreciated. And when I see that, then it encourages me to do more, like you're seeing here. Let me say, this is a big subject. I think I said that. I'll probably say it like 40 more times before I can get going. It's taken a lot of research and background to make sure that I get the details right. It's not easy putting it together. In fact, I doubt you're going to find a lot of videos tackling this subject anywhere. You will find it here at the Nutnfancy project because I want to give you guys that information before you go out and spend your hard-earned money, and perhaps if you already have spent your money, how to maybe improve the system you've chosen. Another ground rule, speaking of systems, is that's how I refer to these guns. A gun is not a gun unto itself, it is a system. Sound familiar? You TMPers out there know it does because I talk systems and have for ever since I've gotten the project going. I don't look at just the gun, I'll look at the magazines, maybe a sling system, maybe a trigger upgrade, optical versus iron sights, maybe a camouflage system. All these things integrate together to produce a weapon system that works for us. And it doesn't matter who you are. You might be a military user, law enforcement, again, a civilian sheepdog, doesn't matter. But these are systems. Another ground rule, I will refer to these as AR and AK. That is a generic umbrella term that makes the video easier. Let's take the AK variants first off. There are a lot. I mean, you guys who are AK fans know that the amount and variety of variations is mind-boggling. You have Russian Segas, Vepers, AK-101s, 102s, 104, AKS-74s, Bulgarians, SA-93, SLR-95, Chinese, MAC-90s, Polytechs, Polish Tantals, barrels, Hungarian, AMDs, Madi, which are the Egyptian, Romanian, Wasser 10s, SR1, blah, 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 on and on and on. There's a lot. There's a lot of places over the world and over the years that have produced some very nice AK variations. Some may or may not be available now. You might find them on secondary markets, and some may be available new right now. The representative model that I've chosen for the video, the main one, there's a couple more in the background you may see here in a little bit, is an Arsenal model SLR 107CR. That's going to be our AK-47, generic term, poster child. Okay, the AR-15 we've chosen in the video series is going to be a Rock River entry tactical version sporting an R4 barrel profile. This is out of the Rock River catalog. And that is an excellent choice for the video, if you ask me. Now, cool finishes, huh? You guys have noticed that, wow, those are wicked finishes. I will tell you that these guns are on loan to Nutnfancy by a very high quality user. You've seen him before shooting, and that is my buddy, longtime confidant, sadly missing. And he runs some really good systems on his guns. You will see it's pretty much top notch. Every system he has, he's upgraded it to his own liking, and I pretty much agree with every modification he makes on his guns. I really dig it. I will briefly go over some of them as the review goes on, and I don't want to get bogged down in them because we've got to go on with the specific system versus system, and we'll knock that out. Let me first say, and you guys are probably, I'll probably do separate reviews on these later. The SLR 107 here, this AK variant, is again a very nice gun. He's got it painted in a camo Krylon. It's not Duracoat, and he did the work himself. It's sporting a Comp M68 aim point, which is a Comp M2. It's a 4 MOA sight, weighing about 7.1 ounces, I think. 4 night vision settings, 6 daylight. That's because he runs NV on his guns. And so every optical sight that sadly missing owns, he always has a night vision capability with it. It's a good tried and true sight. It's running on top of an ARMS lever lock mount. Good system. He has a couple modifications in the gun as well. I think he's got a trigger plate, and that's enough detail for that. And he's running a Phantom flash suppressor on there that's welded on the end of the barrel, so he doesn't have any legality problems. The Rock River, also his, is a painted, I think it's painted, I don't think that's Duracoat, painted digital finish. I don't think he did that, someone else did. Very nice job on that, very impressed with it. Has a GG&G rail on the front, Myad grip, CTR, buttstock, some type of trigger system in it. I'll have to ask him exactly what it is, but it seems like a match trigger to me. And it's running a 553 EOTech, which is an SU-231 in tan. That's a mil-spec EOTech, and it has 10 night vision settings and a multitude of daylight settings. Very nice system. And he's got a mount there for his light as well. Good system. Again, I don't want to get too bogged down in the specific guns because there is so much to discuss. And let's get going. And guess what? I have talking points that I've made for this AK-47 versus AR-15, and there are a lot of things to cover. Okay, so those are the talking points. Don't expect for me to get all the details into this argument. It's just going to be impossible. I'll do the best I can. Remember, guys, Nutnfancy always talks unscripted. I don't read off of anything. I just remember as best I can the stuff that I want to communicate to you. And, dude, let's launch right into it. First talking point, reliability versus durability. There is a lot to discuss here. I will start off by saying I think that either system, and I'm talking to my civilian users right now, either the AK system or the AR-15 system would serve you admirably. That's right. Either system could work very well for your needs, especially if you're talking about a possible WROL defensive arm. Either one's going to work great. That being said, if you are looking for a mud gun, and that's my term, a mud gun is something you can just throw in the gunk, carry it through the woods, neglect it. You may or may not be able to lubricate it, and you just don't know if you'll have spare parts, lubrication, or any chance to clean it. If that is the case, the AK weapon system comes out on top. And it's proven. Jumping ahead to track record, it's proven. For many years, the AK system, the long stroke piston design, just shucks it. I mean, it just has no problems. And that's assuming you have a quality AK variant. And it'll just work for you. The reliability is absolutely superb. How about the AR-15? And along with that, any variation thereof. I will say that the complaints about the AR-15 reliability, and I'm talking about a DI or direct gas impingement version, just like this Rock River entry tactical, is overspoken. In other words, there's way too much made about the problems of an AR-15. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch, let me explain. If you maintain an AR-15 properly, you go through a maintenance schedule where you're going to replace the bolt carrier, maybe the gas key, the cam pin, and you do some inspections on your locking lugs, and you do things to identify problems before they become catastrophic, and you follow, and this is very important, a good lubrication schedule on your AR, you will find that it's going to be pretty much durable for you and reliable. I know that from my own experience, the experience of my associates, doing a fair amount of shooting myself, seeing a fair amount shot. The AR is an extremely reliable weapon system when it's maintained properly and lubricated properly. It likes to run wet. Okay, but I said this is the best mud gun. It is. If I'm going to, like I said, I don't know if the AR-15 would be the best system if I know I'm going to go extended periods without lubrication. In fact, I will tell you, I wouldn't like that, and I wouldn't want to bet my life on a dry AR-15, M4, M16, A2, you name it. I want that sucker to be lubed. For it to function properly, it's got to have a lube on it, and of course the internals have got to be in good working order. It is a little more temperamental, maybe a lot more temperamental in that respect than an AK system. That's just the way it is. However, for most of us, it is not a big deal to keep our weapon lubricated and to maybe carry a few extra spare parts, which might be appropriate. If we stack the internals of our AR with some quality manufactured parts, I'm not talking about gun show garbage. And when I say quality, I'm not talking necessarily an absolutely mil spec, but I think Rock River, for instance, makes pretty good quality parts. I've never seen a Rock River AR-15 fail. Hang on, before you get all excited. I'm sure there have been several / many, don't know, but I haven't seen it yet. And that's kind of what I have to go off of. And it has high quality internals. If you want to upgrade the bolt carrier, the cam pin, and all the other internals to mil spec, magnetic particle inspected, and that level of quality, then I think you're going to even up your reliability rate even more so. For most civilians, I think you would be very happy with any quality make of AR-15. I'll talk more about that when I do the AR-15 reviews, and it will be reliable for you. But bottom line, long-term reliability, slugging it through the mud, no lube, AK wins. How about durability? Advantage AK yet again. And this is why I say that. Because after about, 5,000 rounds in an AR, I start looking very carefully at the locking lugs of the gun, this portion here, making sure I don't have any cracks that are going to happen. Also, I would note the cam pin hole. I'm not going to break it down to show you that. The cam pin hole, look it up on a diagram if you're wondering what that is. Making sure there's no fatigue cracks happening. I got to keep an eye, I feel, on an AR-15 at those round marks to prevent catastrophic failure. I am not the end-all AK expert, I'll tell you that now, but I don't think that I have that same problem with AK variants. I don't have to totally watch for fatigue cracks. I mean, they just keep on chugging. So ultimate reliability, ultimate durability, AK. Let me talk about the gas system. They are different gas systems. This is a piston design gas system, as you guys know. That means that a piston, long stroke piston, is driving the bolt back to strip a new cartridge off. No, I'm not going to get into the details on that. It's boring for most guys. Suffice it to say, there isn't gas being tapped off to the barrel from the barrel and being driven directly into the action of an AK-47, AK variant. However, for a DI AR-15, that's not the case. The gas is tapped off, ran through the gas tube, and yes, it does go back into the carrier group, or the bolt carrier group, making the bolt hotter and maybe, big maybe, in Nutnfancy's opinion, leading to some problems. Again, this is an overblown problem in my opinion, especially with semi-automatic ARs. I think most guys out there will never fire their gun enough or fast enough for that ever to be a problem. And then if you adhere to a regular and common sense maintenance schedule, again, AR-15 is going to serve you just fine, assuming quality parts. Now, but it's not as simple as that. Let's say we do shoot a lot and we shoot rapidly when we shoot. You can get a problem called throat erosion on the gas port here with an AR. And that will lead to more problems. That little hole that taps off from the barrel can actually become enlarged. That's the port erosion I'm talking about. That allows more gas to be transmitted through the gas tube, thus cycling the bolt faster and also leading to what are called timing problems, where the bolt unlocks prematurely and it can lead to some parts breakages. That's a problem with a DI gun. In my opinion, that's not something you will see until you get way down the road in rounds counts. I won't give you a specific number because I don't have a specific number. I'm not a metallurgist, and nor have I conducted my thousands of rounds test personally to give you hard data on that. You might find some, I don't know, somewhere. DI system though, throat erosion, can lead to more problems. That is just a true statement about the AR DI system. There are variants coming out, I know that. Retrofits available for a DI AR-15. You can transfer or make it into a piston gun, very similar to the AK version. However, that's a lot more expense. Some of those conversion systems are as much as the gun themselves, so you kind of got to weigh out that value. But I got to keep it real, guys. That's a problem with the DI system. So I'm going to give the nod to reliability, hands down, to the AK-47. The nod in reliability as well, mainly because of that gas problem that over time you'll get throat erosion. Barrel wear should be about the same. Most AKs or quality AK variants do have a chrome lined barrel. Some are hammer forged. But you know what? You can say that with an AR-15 too. I don't think this entry tactical is chrome lined. A lot of the Bushies are, Noveski, LMTs, just depends. Lots of variants. But the barrel life should be about the same. What we're talking about is the functioning overall. So I think most guys will agree with that assertion. AK is more reliable. Next topic, ballistics. This is actually and could be a video all on its own. I got to see where I am time-wise. I only have enough time to introduce this subject and move on. What we are talking about when we're talking about ballistics, generally speaking, is the AK-47 is going to be running a 7.62 by 39 round, like so, and of course AR-15, the 5.56 round. And that's the main comparisons I'm going to make now between the two. Picking it up in part 2, this is AK-47 versus AR-15 Nutnfancy. Here we go.